issues of incompatibility among couples. We also are going to be looking at steps that we need to engage in to resolve crises in our homes and in relationships. We are discussing these two topics with our regular panelists who are in the house already. Our consultant is seated already. Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa is in the house with us. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, Cameroonians, and welcome to Prime Hour. It's another Tuesday for relationship matters. AFCON is come and gone. To face back with our day-to-day activities in our nation, Cameroon. Stay tuned as we bring you very important information.
Apostle Alfred Esingie is also there. He is an expert in issues relating to relationship and marriage. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. It's a privilege to be here again today. I want to say that what interests me the most is that some couples were watching football and others were not watching football. For example, I was not watching, my wife was watching. So I want to say that we're going to talk about something like that today.
Okay, yes, issues of compatibility.
That's
interest, shared interest. We also in the company of Apostle Lefor Divine. They call him the Love Doctor, all the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Good evening, and personally, I have to say Happy New Year to the entire team and to all the viewers of Major Prime and this very beautiful program. I think this is the first time this year. I want to celebrate everyone out there, and we are very confident that, of course, this year it will get better, bigger, more explosive, and all the couples, singles, you can be sure that you will have something that will shape your life, relationship, and everything all over the world. Thank you for always being there.
Apostle Mrs. Yvette Asanji is also going to be taking part in today's edition of the program from Bomen, the Northwest Regional Capital. Good evening to you, Mr. Asanji. We are going to be listening to you. Tell our televiewers what you think about these two topics. I will start with you, Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa. I don't know, I made an error. Why is everybody?
Apostle Mrs.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yes, Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa. We are talking about issues of compatibility when it comes to this. You are a counselor. Many persons, marriages, persons in relationship, they come up to you. Have you noticed that most couples are incompatible?
Yes, Mr. Leo, and that's the reason why when I counsel would-be couples, I always give them a form to fill. Because in that form, there are a lot of things that when you answer, be able to look at that of the man and that of the woman to be able to understand if at all these people are compatible. Because that's one of the major challenges we have in most relationships today. And in most cases, you will see that there is a vast gap, sometimes in education, sometimes in the way they reason, sometimes in their hobbies and their passions, sometimes in their dreams and their assignments. You discover they have conflicting or divergent views when it comes to issues like that. But when we talk about how to overcome issues of incompatibility among couples, I think to the best of my understanding, there are very fundamental ways to handle this issue if peradventure you got married without a proper understanding. But such things are always good to avoid, not to even enter into such marriages in order not to face challenges tomorrow. Now we are talking to persons who by ignorance got married and then they found themselves in this situation. What do you do and how do you manage incompatibility? We're going to be talking this thing from different stratas and different angles. For instance, in the area of education, there is incompatibility. The man is too educated, the woman is not educated, or the woman is educated and the man is not educated. The truth is, I will give a scenario of a particular movie I watched called Worlds Apart. This is a prince educated from a royal family, very, prosperous, successful, falls in love with a native girl who doesn't know how to speak English, doesn't know how to use cutlery, doesn't know how to interact with the high and the mighty. And the queen was so cross with the son for falling in love with such a debased individual. But unfortunately, or rather fortunately, the prince was madly in love with the girl and pursued the girl to her village. And with the help of the father, the king, That girl was kept in hiding, and proper training was given to her, education, how to use cutlery, how to dress well like a city girl, to interact. When the girl was transformed and brought back to the same queen that rejected her, the queen could not identify the girl anymore. And the son said, let that girl go and put on the same native attire she wore initially when the prince picked her by the road. And when the mother saw the girl, and then the mother was amazed, is it the girl I drove for many years ago? And then they said the lesson we got from that movie is that always bring people to your level. If you love them, upgrade them. If you love them, bring them to your taste. If you love them, bring them to your standards. So to you who is educated and you are married to somebody who is not educated, most people did not go to school not because they did not love going to school, but sometimes the opportunities were not there. And sometimes the chances also were not there. You were a chance to go to school. Don't ignore or mock people who didn't go to school. I've seen far more better persons who didn't go to school because the opportunities were not there. So always learn to bring your friend, your partner, or your fiancé to your standard. If it's your wife, raise her to your standard. Raise her to your rank. If truly you love her, you'll be ready to sacrifice until you bring her to where you want her to be. Coming to dishes, because when it comes to colors, dishes and other things, there are a lot of incompatibility. Hobbies, what the man may love, the woman may not love. The man may be somebody who loves, like Apostle Esingie said, love watching football, and the woman doesn't love watching football, and both of them want to watch the TV at the same time. How do you manage such a situation? You see, then there is a kind of confusion. So to me, the best of my understanding, in a situation where the man may admire watching football or the woman may not want to watch football, in that case, let authority prevail. That is how we have to come to a place of authority.
We're talking about incompatibility. Where does it start? Why do many persons find themselves already in living with either a man or a woman when they are incompatible? Where did they not do their homework?
Actually, this issue of incompatibility is natural.
Okay.
It exists everywhere. There is no marriage that you will really say that these people are perfectly compatible. There must be an area of incompatibility. Now, the truth is, in relationships, before people enter, they don't check this issue of compatibility and incompatibilities. What they follow at that time is their emotions and their feelings.
Have you died for that?
Yes, that kind of thing. They say that's why you hear people say love is blind, but marriage is an eye opener. That's exactly what people used to say. And I want to say that because of that, a lot of people follow their feelings and enter into marriage without considering some small things. But again, Mr. Leo, can we say that this issue of incompatibility simply means that people will not have their own type of life and the other one has another type of life? I think that the only thing is having an understanding of both parties. Yourselves, knowing who you are, knowing who your husband is, and operate on that. At that time, we say that you're compatible. Compatible in the sense that you can understand the other person's challenges, the other person's likes and dislikes, and the other person's ways of life. That's what we talk about compatibility. Incompatibility, on the other hand, comes in when you cannot manage what you see in front of you. You cannot manage the diversities and the differences of character and nature in the other person. All what you want is, if get for be like me, because me, I know they so. People always say that. I don't like nonsense because nobody showing me how to do my own. That's what people always say. Because of what? They think that they got married, especially the men, especially the choleric. They always believe that they got married to women so that the women will transform and become like them. Hardworking like them. They should be able to see things like them. They should be able to like things that they like. And unfortunately, it's not like that. Women take their time to grow and become compatible. Women take their time to grow and know things. Women take their time. Men don't take time because they don't have time to think. The truth about it is that men don't have time to think. They just go in for results. Men go in for results. If it is not going to be results, don't waste my time. That's why you see they're not patient. When men are not patient at all. If it is not results, show me. Wait to go come out for day. If not, no come out, you waste my time for talk. And you always hear those kind of things. So compatibility in this sense, we want to bring us to the point where people decide to start knowing one another or each other from when they enter a relationship, from when they start a relationship. From the day I met you on the streets, from the day I met you maybe in the church
the
or
bus
in the
station.
classroom or whatever, we begin to study ourselves and begin to know how to go along. So that will now mean that I want to define compatibility is the ability to go along together without having a problem.
Tolerating one another.
Tolerating one another. That's what I want to talk about compatibility. The ability to move along together, tolerating one another, accepting one another's weakness, and knowing how to make up for the other one. Now, Adam and Eve, let's look at that. Adam was the first man that was created. I always say this thing, and people, a lot of women have insulted me, that a woman is a substitute to complement the man. The man was created, and God looked around and saw that the animals had something, one person around them, but the man did not have. So what was the option? The woman was the solution to that particular problem. And when the woman was created, God did not create the woman as another entity. God came to the man and removed a woman out of that. Now, it did not take Adam anything to argue whether he will eat the fruit or not, because what that woman was doing came from him. I believe that that nature of Adam was in Eve. So it was so easy for Adam to accept disobedience and eat the fruit without any question. That is how we find ourselves today in marriages. When we love our wives, we don't think anymore. Most men, when they love their wives, they don't think anymore. Whatever the wife tells them to do, whatever, whether it is negative or positive, they are forced to do it. Now, sometimes they are forced to do it not because they love her, but because they want their peace. Okay, if you want and not, just go ahead and do it. Okay, yes, if you want and just go ahead and do it. And you see, there's a lot of problems. And we begin to go to certain teachings and we say that, okay, because they are not compatible. Maybe because they are not understanding. Maybe they have not given themselves to know one another.
Okay.
Yes.
We're talking about compatibility. Yeah. It starts with foundational. Yes, because every house is constructed on the foundation. And you talked about love is blind. Yes. Should love actually be blind?
I like this because anybody who knows me always knows that I like to talk before the marriage. Yes, that foundational. I think if love is blind, we will end up, unfortunately, with what we are already experiencing.
Increased divorce rates.
Yes.
But
yes.
Is it also because of this issue?
Yes, this is part of it. This is actually part of it. Because the truth is, many people are looking for what people will make, they look good together in graphic design photos than what is actually happening in the house.
Reality.
Because Apostle, I mean, some persons will say, okay, in the past, wives were sought for this, for men now.
Of course.
And that wife, but I think that the mothers who did that,
they were doing a research.
They knew their sons,
yes,
and actually
knew what to look for. Yes, exactly. So that is why I also want to come into something he said, because I know how my generation also will pick what he has said and will act on it. Yes, I trust my people. See, that is why even in foundational, and when people come, one of the things I talk about is what to compromise. I have a whole teacher, what to compromise and what not to compromise in a relationship. Because sometimes when somebody hears this understanding thing, a lot of time people have compromised their destinies in the name of trying to understand somebody. You see, before people want to say we are not compatible or we can be compatible, there must be some ground rules. What is it about my life that I cannot compromise? I don't know. Are you getting me? Like, what is it about my life I can compromise? What is it about the other person's life that they cannot compromise? Because when people actually have built their lives and they are going somewhere, whether you like it or not, there are some ground rules. Just like how some people, we say that people should not compromise their salvation and all of those things. There must be some ground rules. Because when people hear that, some people will be like, no, if we understand ourselves, there are some things we can compromise. There's some things we cannot compromise. I was saying somewhere that their food I can learn to eat. I cannot only get and say, since I'm from here, they must only cook me na fufu. Those are some things we can compromise, and people work together. And I think if both people begin to understand people's core values, they can begin to know now whether they can match and understand themselves as they go along. Because if not, I've seen a lot of people change just because they want to have somebody to marry. And when they finally get married to this person and they get into the house and there's no longer that pressure to act so that you have the person, it gets, that's why somebody say, the man don't change. But because they originally during the relationship tried to fit what that person, tried to fit the person that they thought that person would like to marry. I'm saying especially for women. They try to be like, no, my time now, I need for marry. And because of that, they behave the particular way that is acceptable. And then when they finally get into the house, they don't see the reason to put up that act again. And at the end of the day, incompatibility now comes into the house. Few people are real before they get married. And I think this is why people need to understand even what to consider during the dating process, what to like we said, what
profile.
Yes, profiling the man and all of that. Yes, some people be like that. No, that's my thing. Yes, profiling the man and everything. And true, you like you are saying that everything cannot be perfect. Like, we're not saying that the person you're marrying must be like me. That's not true. For example, if you look at Oyedepo and Abioye, that's not marriage, but that's a relationship. If you look at Oyedepo and Abioye, you discover that those two people have two different kind of temperaments. But you will see that there is a complementation based on what they want to do. If I have a wife, I must know the kind of way that my family wants to run.
Complementation,
exactly.
not compatibility.
Yeah.
Those are two different words.
Well, I get it, but I'm just going to say that we must look, that's the compatibility to be able to work together in complementing.
That is complementation.
Yes, because I think that people should be able to work together in what they want to achieve.
Because
but complementing and compatibility are two different things. Compatibility, like he says, that there is somebody who loves education would want to get somebody who is compatible to their vision. That's what we are talking.
Yes,
because you kept talking our previous editions. You kept talking of same vision. Same
yes, no, that's why we're not talking about the same vision here. I'm just
saying
we're talking
about compatibility.
Well, I just say that for people to work together, they say two cannot work together unless they agree.
Yes,
but agreement does not mean that, like he said, like I want to. All of us must love football. And everything, but we are saying that when you start at that foundation, look at the things that some people they are able to give up. You must understand the thing. Like I said, some people have core values. The things they are able to be flexible with, the things they're not flexible with. And I think if we understand this before marriage, it will help a lot to know the people you can work with.
Let's get to Mr. Asanji Yvette from Bomen that also contribute to this first topic.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to the apostles. Good evening to our televiewers. We're happy we're back again live on relationship and marriage issues here on Prime R. So today we're looking at incompatibility in relationships or in marriage. Now, sometimes it can be difficult to determine if a couple is incompatible. Like when I'm doing counseling, premarital counseling, for example, if you come in and you're expecting that I'm going to tell you up front that your spouse is not compatible with you, you are making a whole mistake, because I don't do that. It's very unethical. Okay, so but when I counsel couples and someone gets to ask me, are we compatible? Now, I cannot tell you if you're compatible or not, but it depends on you. After we have gone through the counseling process, after we've done temperaments, after we've looked at everything that talks about you as a person and talks about you, your spouse, you're going to see for yourself if both of you are compatible. Okay. Now, the reason why I cannot tell you if you're compatible or not is because we all have individual capacities, how we handle differences. There are some differences, there are some key things in some people that I can't tolerate. But then there's those things you can tolerate them. So if I were to tell you that you are incompatible, I might be talking from my point of view. But now looking at our individual differences, our individual capacities to handle differences, if you have that capacity to handle a certain difference, it makes it more better. So sometimes it's kind of difficult to determine if a couple is compatible or not. But then, that notwithstanding, we have symptoms that shows that sometimes couples are incompatible, which if the couples are keen to it, they can walk through it. They can be incompatible in things like communication. They can be incompatible with sex. They can be incompatible with values, what they believe in, even their goals. Couples might have differences or different points of view on how these things are being handled. But in a nutshell, like I said, sometimes it really gets difficult because people also change, so people can adjust to fit. But in case of incompatibilities, I'll be coming back to explain more how incompatibilities can be sorted out.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Asanji Yvette, coming in there from Bomenda, Northwest Regional Capital, Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa. Now, in this case, how do we get to fixing this problem? Is it identifying our weaknesses and learning to forgive all the time?
Mr. Leo, the truth is there are some things that can only fall in place with time.
Okay.
In any relationship.
Yes.
The Bible says a man shall leave his father and mother, and the two shall. The word shall is a future tense. The two shall become one. People want to become one immediately. No, it's a process. That's the reason why you can get married to a woman, you don't resemble her. The more you live with her, resemblance comes in. It's a process that takes time. The way you are having that physical resemblance is the same way you adapt and fall in place with time. You see, the lines are falling onto me in pleasant places. Oh, behold, I have a goodly heritage. It's a process. There are things I never loved eating, but with time, my wife has dragged me into it. Because when you come to diet, there's compatibility in diet. People don't love some things that their wives cook.
Yes.
But as the time goes on, they finally fall in place. So I think the challenge we have here is that we are trying to do immediately something that has to take a process. And that's the reason why there are some things we don't argue anymore, because we have outgrown that age. One of my sons, who is a pastor, came to me and said, my wife and I used to argue something, and then we asked ourselves that, what is even there to argue again? We have argued almost everything when we are in the 30s, 20s. Now we are into our 50s. What is there to argue again? So time gets a lot of things fall in place. And that is the reason why a lot of pressure is when both pojos newly come together. There are a lot of differences, but there are some things you may not like. Your partner with time can still pull you into those things. For example, I'm a young man who grew from a local home. I didn't grow with all this salad and all this shawarma. No. So the first time I was served salad by my wife, I told her that this is grass. What is this? I don't like it. But she kept on giving me the importance and the nutritive value of salad. Now, I don't go to any place without taking salad for breakfast. I've been away for different conferences, speaking in Mameda, speaking in Limbe. I'm going to Abuja. I eat nothing for breakfast except salad. But that's something I did not want to see many years ago. With time, the two shall become one. We become one in that area of diet. Somebody looks my wife and I and say, you resemble, she looks like your sister. But that was not the case in the beginning. The two shall become one. It's a shall process. And people want spontaneously what's supposed to take a shall. It shall. So compatibility actually is not something that we can say when you get married, you can adjust it immediately. There are things that when you go, you begin to fit into the system. Marriage is like a mold. Two of you come with different shapes. But as the days are going by, you are now fitting yourself into that mold at a level where you will see an elderly man say, all those things you are doing, that we did them as young couples in those days. A girl came back from the husband's house and said, I'm not going to stay anymore. And then the father said, do you think that this thing you are running away from your mother and I did not go through? They went through. But they have molded themselves with time until they have now entered into a shape where both of them don't see any need fighting. So sometimes I see youthful exuberance in the area of marriage looks like you are not compatible. The next thing we have to address is that many people are ready for marriage, but many are not prepared. There's a difference between readiness and preparedness. Readiness is that maturity. She is ripe. She's 22. She's 25. She's 27. She's ready for marriage. But she is not prepared. That preparedness is what differentiates who is ready. Most people get married because they are ready. You hear guess I'm a big girl now, I'm 25, but I have to get married. You hear boys, I'm 29, I have to get married. That's readiness. That's how prepared you are.
I had my first degree.
Yes, I've gone to school, I've gotten a degree, I've gotten a job, I'm ready. I am ready, I'm not prepared. Preparedness is the consciousness of what you are entering into, the steps needed, the capacity and the heart to contain shock or absorb challenges. That's preparedness. The awareness of the whole institution called marriage. Being conscious of that it is not a hotel room or a motel room you walk into in the morning and come out in the evening. It's something you are taking a lifetime commitment. So most people who are ready sometimes are not prepared. And when they enter into it because of lack of preparedness, they see everything wrong. There are things you may not like in a partner initially because there is that difference. But as the days are going by, you will realize that it was even you that was wrong. I am somebody who is choleric. And I like shouting when my wife, I'll just start shouting out of anger. And that's my nature. When I shout, it goes off. On the other hand, my wife won't shout. But she will tell you that thing after 1 week.
Yes.
So I came to realize that shouting also debases your authority. It reduces your authority if you keep shouting. So with time, she has also made me understand that shouting does not mean you have authority. Because sometimes I will shout and Bob should look at me like that. You don't finish out. So I realized that sometimes your authority is even when you don't even speak. And you speak, you scarcely speak, and then you only take actions. So as the days are going by, I realized that shouting was a nature I had. But as the days are going by, I'm becoming compatible with my wife to sit quiet. So this time around, I have more authority because when I back, when she does something, I don't react. I just ignore. Once I ignore, it communicates stronger than when I start shouting. So sometimes people are very ready for marriage, but they are not prepared for marriage.
Okay. We're talking about how to overcome issues of incompatibility. Can we also say that there is need to develop points of common interest?
Yes.
Yes, your wife think differently, like you say,
yes,
especially at the youthful stage of marriages. And then from there, you guys now identify where we have these weaknesses and then work towards what can bring both visions together.
In most situations, people come to these common interests. That's what takes them to the altar.
Okay.
Yeah. I look at this, I don't like it. I don't like this about this person. I don't like this about this person. But at the end of the day, you find yourself with the person on the altar. That's to say that you found something that you can hold on to live with that person. Since it's something for a lifetime. So this issue of common interests has a lot of things to consider. All what my fellow panelists have spoken, they are very perfect and very correct. But I want to look at the issue of the temperaments, just like how the apostle just said. The temperaments are very sensitive. There are some temperaments that can't go with the other. And there are some temperaments that cannot be managed. Especially if you cannot manage someone that is snobbish. There are some people that are snobbish.
I cannot handle snobbish.
Yes. Some
The
people are
wife?
snobbish.
No, I cannot.
You are living with a wife who's snobbish. Wait, how did you get married to them?
That's what we're saying.
We have had a lot of cases here.
We're not prepared.
We have had a lot of cases here where people complain. The man no dey talk for me. And he try all things for making me glad, no dey glad. Though that particular aspect is something that it's more of an evil behavior. That came from a bad side of a temperament. The melancholic aspect of life. The melancholic temperament is a very sensitive thing. That is what most choleric people don't like it. Those people who can snub at you, and when you talk, they cannot respond to you. It's a very dangerous thing. So, what do? You talk about area of interest. In those kind of cases, I just realized, okay, my husband likes to shout. All right, what I do is, I just learn to like the shouting. And then I don't speak, but I speak after. Just learn to like it.
Like you just said?
Yes, because that's what my wife also does. Sometimes when I shout, she will just tell me that you like shouting. You like shouting. It will pain me the most again. Then after that, I will see myself like a fool for shouting to somebody who did not care so much about it. You understand? So it is just like that. But some people don't like the word shouting. I don't like when they shout for me.
You shout, I shout back.
Yes, you shout, I shout back. Those two people cannot go.
Who scatter us.
No, you cannot go. You cannot go. You just must learn to like the fact that the man I love, the man I find peace with, like shouting. How do I do it? I just need to like it.
In the beginning.
I just need to like it. And then I decide to sit quiet when he's shouting. Not ignoring him. Because if you ignore him, there'll be a problem. You sit quiet when he's shouting to listen to him. When you finish listening to him, after you finish, you say, find you when you want to talk so. When you shout for them. Anyway, I don't hear what you talk, but I know the thing can so. So that is the kind of thing. We must learn to know somebody's area of weakness in their temperaments, because all these temperaments, the choleric, the sanguine, the phlegmatic, the melancholic, all of them have their setbacks. So if you don't know these things, you can't operate on a compatibility note with your spouse or with your someone you're in a relationship with. For example, I am that kind of a hot person too. And I discovered that Apostle Ambe is also that hot person. But many times what I do is I look at the value he carries. I decide to sit quiet when he speaks. And then I look for an opportunity when I can express myself better. And I talk to him. These are some of the things. We don't just want to throw down people, because I hear people talk about toxic people. And the word they say, cut off from toxic people and everything. I hate that statement. You want to cut off from toxic.
It's just motivation, that is raw motivation that does not make sense.
Finally, you will run away from your boss.
Yes.
You will run away from everybody.
No, the people saying that thing never run away from their boss because they are ruled by money.
Good.
They take that
They
because
take
of money.
it from their boss, but they cannot take it from their husband, or from their
Yes,
wife.
they take it from their boss.
That's the kind of thing. So you can't cut off from people. You don't just do that. One of the things I know about people is that I can put you at a distance, but I don't close the doors in such a way I cannot relate with you again after.
Of course.
If I realize that we are not going on well, I would, okay, that's how? I keep it at the level of acquaintance. Just greeting you, just saluting you, until the day I am able to know you. And I know that I can benefit from you. Okay, like I came up to your program up in Boya and had to discover you a lot. And I know that this man, I can benefit from him. But at first, you may want to see him as a young minister who is zealous, who is this. But I saw things that I can benefit from you. It changed my perspective, and now I start learning how to deal with that young minister. And it's blessing. And that's why everybody must learn their husband or their wife.
Yes, you have to learn.
How is their temperament? How do they operate? Learn to like it. If you don't like it, remember that you're going to live with it for the rest of your life, because that is a nature. These are natural things. You cannot tell a man who is phlegmatic to be sanguine. Sanguine are those people who scatter. Everything. They can make many promises. Sanguine. Master, how? As I go America, so I go send you money. As I reach your the first work I get up, that the money do I go send up. They will talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
They'll talk as if they are the ones that own America. That money is planted on the tree. And when they get there, they see frustration. Then they will wait for about 3-4 years. Master, as I be tell you so that you have talk so.
And then they continue where they ended.
They just go ahead. They just believe that the relationship should continue from where it ended.
Yes, yes.
There should be no apologies. There should be nothing to nothing. So it happens. There are couples like that. They believe that when they have offended you, they don't need to come back and tell you that, oh, bro, I'm sorry.
If the time has passed.
Yes.
Let's just continue.
They just want to continue. They bring a new topic, a very interesting one, and they want you people to continue. But phlegmatic or melancholy people, they will tell you that no, we must go back and revisit that area where we did not touch it. So you must learn it. And that is how you begin to solve your problems at home. Don't get angry. My husband likes to shout at me. My wife shouts at me and talk back to me and all the like. Okay. Learn and study these things. They will help you a lot.
Good evening, sir. I love the program. How can you manage a woman who have anger? Any little thing she shouts at you. I think this is common, no?
Yes.
Like what you just
you just mentioned. And I think the bottom line of this, because such questions will come up many in this program today. The bottom line of this, if I want to say something, we have to learn our partners. That means the key word is learn. The truth is, many of us young people don't have the patience to study. to learn. And because this person is talking about a wife that has anger issues. This person did not have anger issues in the house. Like, I'm not saying, I'm saying at least these are things that could have, this person must have already been a little bit, you would have already been seeing that there are some points in the relationship that got the person agitated. Yes. Or even if the person was not that angry, many other things in the house could have also brought about this anger, because some people, when they feel they are not being heard,
yes,
they get loud.
Yes.
Because
especially
they feel,
if you cannot satisfy a woman on bed.
When you understand this, yes. So when they feel they are not being heard, well, sir, wait. When they feel they are not being heard, they can get loud. You understand? So I think, just as I'm answering to this person now, let us learn to understand. That means you have to take the responsibility to
understand that
actually learn your partner.
That the wife has to be shouting every day. That's what you're saying.
No. We are not, please, a lot of time when we are saying this thing, it does not mean that we are approving the other behavior.
No, let's talk in context.
Yes.
She says the wife shouts all the time.
All the time.
Yes. And there are many persons who are living under
that same condition.
Yes, okay.
So what are you telling
him? Okay, this is it. First, the underlying issue is you must understand that atmosphere, that thing that creates this thing.
Love your wife the way he said that. Yeah, the woman should love the shouting husband.
No, this anger is different from shouting.
Yeah, no, but
anger.
To some people, they cannot separate it. No, I get his point. No, Mr. Louis say something here. Some people cannot separate this. Look, this is very trivial. I'm saying that now, this is very tricky. We must understand the circumstances that triggers this. Because when someone just says somebody is angry, nobody just gets up and is angry at nothing. You understand? And if you can understand the circumstance, because I'm talking to the man here, that's why I say learn the person. If you can understand it, we can look at how the time that is, we are looking at the best way to communicate to this woman that this is an issue.
Yeah, but you should also talk to the woman now.
Yes.
We're talking about fixing.
But I'm not talking to the woman here. This woman might not be watching us. A lot of times, when I'm handling this thing, I'm talking to the person who is listening to me.
Yeah, but maybe he is watching with you.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just throw a little bit of light.
Most persons, sincerely, I've received a message from a lady, and then
not long,
2 or 3 minutes later, I received from the husband. And when I look at their complaints, I discover that it is the wife, and maybe they are watching the program. The husband does not know that the wife is writing.
Texting.
Yes.
The wife does not know. Yes. Let me answer to this man's perspective. Maybe you have something to say. But please, 1 minute. To the man, I will say this. Since the aim is to solve this, you might need to calm down your high horse and put a little of it, because sometimes we are always just mad that we are the man. We want to solve the problem here. So I will look, if I was the one, I will look at the atmosphere that will not cause this anger to rise, to communicate. But if I am talking to this woman, you must understand that a man, once you touch his ego, I think we have said this thing very well, you must know what is which kind of man.
Is it the Bible that says that it's better to live on the rooftop?
Yes. Once you touch a man's ego, a man, first of all, like he said, there's something he said, a man can accept something not because he wants to, but he wants to just avoid problem. That man that is going to the rooftop now, probably they avoid that issue.
Yes.
Are you that's what they might go rooftop. Are you getting me? So I think if both of them really want to solve this man will have to look at that atmosphere that is not bringing out that woman's thing to communicate his values. And secondly, this woman has to understand that if you want to tell a man that don't put your phone here, even if you are right, how you say it matters. For the man to hear you, how you say it matters. So no amount of shouting at a man can make a man hear you.
Okay. Good evening to you.
It's very important.
Nice educative program. I am so sorry I'm joining late. Please, when is the replay of this program? Mr. Kum, more grace to the panelists. We need you live in Banyu for this education. Fai John is writing from Banyu. The rebroadcast is coming up.
This thing was very sensitive. This thing, I just wanted to throw something.
Yeah, let me finish. Fai, we are coming. The rebroadcast of this program is tomorrow 1 p.m. on my Media Prime TV. He says the Bible says a soft or gentle answer turns away wrath. Okay? Yes.
Yes. Now, this boy did not just fall into an angry woman. You were with her for a very long time, and you took note that that's how he is. She is. So don't expect her to change on one day. you already knew it before you entered. But if you did not know, and then she was so nice before and now she's not nice anymore, something went wrong somewhere. Either she's psychologically disturbed, either she's been haunted, either she's emotionally deprived, either she is having something that is eating her up. Maybe you should go down, take her out, and try to probe or find out.
Okay.
Sometimes you may need to meet a counselor.
Okay.
Who will be able to talk to that about it.
Hello to you all in the studio. I'm for Nestor from Bamenda. For me, I think that only God's presence can solve incompatibility issues among couples. Okay.
Church.
We have to pray. Compatibility has to do with mutual understanding between couples. Omar Oba is writing from Zaria in Nigeria. This one says, good evening, I'm Hilda from West Region. Please, how can I know my temperament and control it? Okay. This one says, good evening, please, how can you manage a husband that's so secretive?
How
Yes.
can you yes.
A husband who is so secretive.
Yes, yes. How can you manage a man that is so secretive? It's as simple as ABC. Everybody, no matter how secretive they are, they have an inlet and an outlet. You see that phone you are holding? It has an entry, it has an exit. You see your house has an entry, it has an exit. You need to study that man enough to know how to penetrate him. Some men speak well when they are ejaculating. Some men speak well when your breast is in their mouth. No matter how God told Samson to keep his dread as a secret, Delilah was able to bring out that secret.
Can you imagine?
You should be able to understand that no man is too strong that can be penetrated. The greatest of men have been brought down by women. So you have not studied that man enough. If you know where to twinkle him, that thing called secret will come out. The most secretive of men have always revealed their secrets to people who got their entry point.
Yes. Even the person is secretive, the person is opening up somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. The person is opening up somewhere.
Yes.
Yes, but Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa, we are looking at this issue. Should we not also, when we talk about how to fix issues of incompatibility, instead of looking at what divides a family, why not also start thinking about the future? That if I end today, when I grow old, would I want to end my life as a single person? In the case of children, should we not already start envisaging that the future of these children is at stake if we work rather on what divides than unites us?
Yes, the truth is, every parent, I repeat, every parent would definitely work for the interest first of for their children. I've seen women who have been able to withstand all kinds of challenges in a relationship or in a marriage, not because they actually wanted to stay with the man, but for the benefit or for the well-being of their children. They decided to become the sacrificial lamb that they will lay their lives on the ground, not because the marriage is good, but because they want to secure the destiny of their children. That's the first thing. In another occasion, sometimes when people are incompatible, they look at the consequences and the damages of what separation will do as compared to the incompatibility.
Good.
I cannot, how do I put it, be penny wise and pound foolish. How can I sacrifice my relationship for something that the consequences will be greater than what I'm running out of? For instance, if a woman doesn't cook what I like, separating from that home can jeopardize my children, my career, and my future. What is the cost of what I'm losing as compared to the inconvenience of what I have to compromise?
And not to that's it.
So people don't weigh on a kilo what they are compromising as compared to what they will lose if they don't compromise.
In consideration for companionship when you need it most, that is when you grow old.
That is the issue. And sometimes the effect upon the children and the consequences upon your own life as a man. What if the children turn out tomorrow to face their mother and leave you alone? What are the consequences you will face after all your investment upon the children? Because there is a possibility for the children to turn their back on you, their father, and follow on their mother. I've seen cases like that. Now, putting it, what also if the children become delinquent? Because a house where the father and the mother are not in in accord or living together, sometimes the children are specially positioned and they can play games between the separated father and the separated mother and learn bad attitudes that will end up jeopardizing the children's destiny. So if I'm going to compromise to eat fufu corn, which I do not like, for the well-being of my children tomorrow, while will I, for a piece of meal, jeopardize the destiny of a people? Put it on a kilo, scale it, and then you will see if what you are compromising is compared to what, if you abandon the family, it will turn out to be.
Maybe you use
people
food. Try to use cheating, maybe.
Let me use cheating. Yes.
Cheating.
Like one of the movies we saw, a girl packed her things because she found condom in the husband's trouser. Only went back home, the mother told her, you are not entering here. Say, why? Say, because you caught condom in your husband's trouser, you want to come to the house? He said, Mama, nobody in this age will do that nonsense. The mother said, my daughter, I caught your father several times on our matrimonial bed, not with condom in his trouser. You saw just condom. I caught your father red-handed on our matrimonial bed. He said, Mama, you did not tell me all this. The information was not necessary for you. I had to stay in this room because I needed to secure your destiny. If I were not there as a mother, you won't amount to what you are today. What she sacrificed or she compromised and what she kept was more expensive because the destiny of that child. So when every minute you say, I'm leaving the house, I'm leaving the house, I'm angry, I'm leaving the house, I caught him with a man, I'm leaving the house, have you calculated what you are going to lose as compared to what you have already lost? Because the man has cheated, you've already lost that part. Now calculating what you are going to lose as compared to what he has cheated.
You think that cheating should be tolerated to?
No.
That's something.
No, we have condemned cheating here. It is not today we are talking about against cheating here.
Yes.
That one is a chapter treated here. We are trying to handle a particular question at this particular time
on
to
context.
address
And
reality.
reality.
Context.
Okay. Put in the reality.
Now I want us to look at cheating itself. Is this an aspect? I've seen men of God actually who are preaching. I'm not saying like the man of God confided in me. No, preaching and saying that they know some of their colleagues who have confessed that that is a weakness they have. Not like saying that they don't have carry the anointing. They carry that anointing. It is a weakness that they have as men of God. Imagine men of God with the anointing. They have that weakness to sleep around. How much more of lay Christians? Now you're married to your husband who cheats. It is maybe a weakness. Like Apostle Paul says that what I want to do, I don't do. What I hate doing, I find myself doing. Now, you are the man who you also find your wife in that weakness. How do you tolerate and fix
Let
it?
me just conclude before.
Okay.
I have spoken about the 1/10 factor here.
Okay.
1/10 factor. A man can be good in 9 things and he has a disadvantage in 1 thing. Before you will make a decision, always judge how beneficial is that man to you. You may leave somebody who has 1/10 and go and get married to somebody who has 4/10.
You are speaking in parables.
I'm not speaking in parables. You may leave a man who is an adulterer and you don't just go and meet an adulterer. What if the man is responsible? The Bible says a man that can take care of his own family, especially members of his own household, it says that person who does not take care is worse than an infidel. What does that mean? It means a man who does not take care of his family completely is worse than a man that cheats but takes care of his family. Are we trying to compromise sin? Are we trying to promote sin? No, that's the scripture. That scripture is telling you that the person you are married to is not a perfect person. And if you go and calculate and scale him over 10, in 10 bad things, he does 2 and does 8 good things. In any exam, anyone that scores 8/10 has succeeded.
Okay.
He has succeeded. But you see, people will take 1 disadvantage in a man and wipe out every other advantage in that man. That is where we have a problem in this life. And I've said on this platform, if we must find the errors in both men and women, no couples will be together tomorrow.
Since no human being is perfect, you are getting married to an imperfect person that is weighing the options, like you are saying.
Yes.
What I find as a problem, do I really give away, or I consider other factors that may work in my favor, while hoping that he also identified those things that are good in me, and then we work together.
Of course.
Yes, but in this case, where that is the major weakness, either for the man or for the woman, how do we compromise? How do we build? How do we strike a balance?
When you call it a weakness, I really don't want to see it as a weakness.
Okay, it's a strong point.
No, not necessarily a strong point also.
Okay.
But people are victims of circumstances.
Okay.
Sometimes you may come from a family that has that particular genetic inclinations.
Mm-hmm. That's a weakness now.
No,
you
it's
fight
not a weakness. You don't call it a weakness.
It's a weakness.
It's a weakness.
It should be called a weakness.
Because
I said I don't want to call it.
You wish you were out of it,
Yes.
because it runs in the blood now.
Yes, it's a bloodline pattern. Something that flows sometimes not only in a family, but in a tribe.
Okay.
There are some tribes that people flow into, especially cheating. There are some tribes that a woman does not get married to one man. They must divorce this one, marry another one, about 3 different men to show that they are strong women.
Apostle, to even add to what you are saying, there's a tribe in the south where that they don't accept women to be, how do I put it? They don't accept men to pay the bride price of women.
You understand? Because they know that anything can happen and anytime they will come back. Now, you should be able to know the man you want to marry, know their background, or know where they come from. What is that, let me call it that weakness that operates in that tribe? What is that weakness that operates in that family? So that you get conscious and prepare for it. Don't be taken aback. Don't be over. Don't find it as a surprise, because these people have that kind of passion. Imagine you get married to the family of David or Solomon. You're finished. You know, the family of David, and then what you were marrying is Solomon.
And they are part of that family.
700 wives and 300 concubines. You're finished. In that kind of relationship, you are finished. And that's what we're trying to say, that every woman should put it at the back of their mind. The reason I call woman is because we always believe that it is the men that cheat. But even though nowadays it is trending that the women cheat more than any other thing, especially after they have watched pornographic materials on their phones and everything, they get hot, and some of them even go to the point of masturbating and all that, and at the point they just want to practice it and they go out to do these things. Now, in such cases, what are our challenges? We are looking at it because we want to solve a lot of problems out there that are happening. I believe that when you want to ask a man, before you got married to me, how many girlfriends did you even have? Say, I have about 7 or 8. They know that you're in for something.
Of course.
Because you will be the number
9.
Number 9. And then number 10 will come. Or number 11 will come. Because, like we said, that marriage does not solve the problem of fornication.
Of course.
And the big brother of fornication is called what? Adultery. That's the elder brother of fornication. So when you think that you are marrying and it will solve that problem, now, I want to ask these girls who say the man cheat or whatever. Before you got married to this man, you were engaged and church people were following you behind. Both of you were doing. You were still doing this thing behind in the secret. And nobody. And you saw church people did not catch you. Pastor did not catch you. Nobody did not catch you. And now that you are married, you want the man to be a saint, not to thief. Because you people started thieving. You trained yourself to be thieves. You trained yourself. And now you are into the marriage and you are now complaining that he is cheating. He is cheating. No. You people started cheating.
What is the case?
You were cheating. You were using the church to cheat. You were avoiding. How many young people today can stay clear from sex and romance before marriage? And if you cannot stay clear, who told you that that same man or that same woman can be patient enough? The day you say you don't want him to touch you for 1 month, and you think he will be like that. Or the day you say you are going to fasting for 21 days, like how they do it in January, you think he will be like that. Now, you see, some of these things I want us to be clear about it. Our people should know where they are coming from, what they have been through. Even when you go to church, the church does not change you on one day. That is why the pastor keep on teaching, and you go, the pastor will be preaching against fornication in the church. Why is he preaching fornication in the church? He was supposed to preach it on the streets. Because there are fornicators in the church. And the person you married was a fornicator too. And that repented and he came to church. And once in a while, fornication will show his ugly head. And then you just give up on that person who is also talented and has other abilities that can make marriage a wonderful thing or a relationship a wonderful thing.
So what are you saying?
I am saying that people should be prepared for anything. Anything can happen at any time.
Okay.
That's what I
Weigh
say.
it.
Incompatibility here.
You should weigh
Yes.
it.
But I had a discussion somewhere on this. I sat somewhere in Yaoundé on Saturday, and two of the persons with whom we're discussing raised this topic, this program, that Mr. Liu, we love this program, and they raised something similar. And in that discussion, there was one lady who raised an issue and said that for her, a cheating husband should be nurtured to some extent, because she considers that this his affairs with other women actually takes away some of the pressures that would have been exerted on her alone because of the stress and other trauma that men are going through. And I was amazed at her analysis, and I said, wow, I would have loved you to be in Douala so that you participate.
That is a woman who learns.
She raised so many similar issues. Yes, but in this case where it is the woman who is cheating, how do we reconcile this?
When it is the woman that is cheating, I don't see why. Is it something special? I think couple is couple. If it is the woman that is cheating,
okay, the man should weigh the important things.
Yes, look,
and tolerate her.
See, Mr. Leo, I've said something here. The truth. That's one of the reasons why I talked about. One time I was talking here.
Please,
about,
Abeg, let me not cut you. If I catch my wife today cheating, I will not let her go. She's a good woman.
Wait, let me
I have no choice. I'm telling you the truth. If I catch my wife cheating,
you consider the other 9 good things she does.
not only 9 good things,
It's
9 and a half.
factor.
Yes.
Apostle Ambe, would you?
wait, let me say something. Wait,
Yes.
let me say something. Let me say something.
You want
The
to
way you are even answering, Apostle, I'm doubting. Yes, go
Let me
on.
say something. I remember somebody read my book, How to Deal with Feeling Unappreciated in Relationship, and got to me, and they brought up this same kind of question. And in one of my sessions, I said, a person's confidence in a relationship comes from their sense of contribution to that relationship.
Yes.
Most of the times when people feel, when they feel like somebody say, I feel insecure, a lot of times, a person who is actually making a good contribution to a relationship always feels secure. Most of the time, insecurity comes from that lack of sense of contribution. When I say contribution, we're not just talking about money. We are talking about what you are actually bringing to the table.
Yes.
And the truth is, Mr. Liu, we must be factual. When somebody is bringing something to the table, there are worse things than cheating. Sometimes we make this thing look like if it is cheating, it has come to the end of the matter. There are worse things than cheating. Let's be very clear. And if it is still the woman, he has said something, I don't know, he removed from my mouth, I don't know why he rushed to say that thing that he said. I told the kind of person that one day I was talking to my children about my wife, and I told them, I said, this woman's value, when you people quantify this woman's value only based on what she does, you fail. Sometimes her value is what she does not do. In fact, the room she has given me to do what I do is something few women can do.
Yes.
Sometimes their value is not even in what they is even in what they don't do. They not nagging is a good thing.
Yes.
Mr. Leo, as a woman nag on your head, you will know that having a woman who does not nag is a gift from God.
Yes.
Which is
No, please, we are coming there. That's why I'm saying that. At the end of the matter, the person that she know, I've said this even before. I said, if I catch my woman, somebody on her, I'm not talking about the one that I hear, on her, the person I have come to know, the way I'll forgive, even she will be shocked.
You say, baby, let's go.
She will be shocked.
I go transfer the anger now for the man. They can find it after that. They say, baby, don't do this.
But so what we are trying to say here is this: at the end of the matter, whether it's the man or don't, because we don't want to make it look like it can only be taken because it's a man. At the end of the matter, be the best person you can be. We all are striving to be good.
Yes.
But we should not say that cheating is the worst thing that can happen. Are you getting me? And secondly, you should understand that at the end of the day, what is the value of the partner?
What you guys are talking about in this platform today actually is more of wisdom. is more of like, is it Colossians?
Very deep wisdom.
Is it Colossians? Is it not worldly? Men of God all out there going to accept this thing? Because people think that if somebody cheats, it's sin. It's demonic. it's
they used to say that,
yes.
But now
this is
only
sinful.
few will
How
say that.
How can you say this?
No, only few will say that now.
You see, Mr. Leo, I was in a conference in Chicago, and we're talking about gay. If your son gets up tomorrow, how to relate with the gay community. I told them that a gay is like a fornicator, is like an adulterer, is like a thief, it's like any other sinner. How would you relate with a fornicator? How would you relate with an adulterer? You may hate the sin, but you must love the sinner. You must love the people to share God's word to them. And I told them that the only way the Christian community can relate with the gay community is to express love to them, not to insult them, castigate them, reject them, invite. No, you don't do that.
Exactly what the Pope said, and he was heavily bashed.
No, we have to take the gospel to them in love, because they are like any other sinner. These people have amplified.
Who were they?
They have amplified some certain things. That's the reason why the way they have laid emphasis on cheating, it looked like cheating is stronger than lies.
It looked
like cheating is stronger
in the church
than murder.
One man.
I'm telling you that people can spare somebody their kills and they will say there is a mistake.
Yeah.
But they will stone you for cheating.
Yeah.
That is the issue.
But we grew
The
up
people who were raising stone to shoot the woman who committed adultery were killers. Those same people turn around to kill Jesus.
But we grew up knowing that the worst sin in the church is fornication and adultery. That's the reason why people are not eating communion.
But
the one that is there now is not even adultery, it's pedophile.
As much as we do not support, we are not trying to defend fornication and adultery. What we are trying to say is this. Do not go and throw a vessel. I cannot throw my car because the carburetor is bad. That carburetor is just a part.
Okay, let me take some messages. Greetings, Mr. Liu and the entire panel. Well, to me, it is all about self-discipline, tolerance, and being accommodating as couples. You shouldn't go in for what you know you can't handle in the long run, because marriage is a lifetime thing. For example, enduring a man who beats you up and say he will change with time. Thanks. It's Marion writing from Boya, but Apostle Ambe addressed that. Sure, beating, you said that when life was sick.
Yes, just back out.
Yeah. Good evening, Sir Steffi from Southwest Region. Please, if a guy promises a lady to be educated before marriage and he is not yet educated but wants to get married to her, please, what should she do?
That's incompatibility.
Okay, that's incompatibility.
Yes, it will raise eyebrows tomorrow.
Okay.
Serious one.
Is it good for a man to tell her wife everything, his wife everything? Secrets here.
It depends on the ability of the wife to handle information.
This.
Okay.
Yes, it depends. Some women, if you tell them something,
they may expose
you spoil a lot of things for
okay.
For them, not even for yourself.
So you must keep some secrets.
There are some things.
Okay.
That you should not be talking
about.
Okay,
good evening, Mr. Leo.
Maybe for that moment, you may say it sometime later, but
it is all about self-confidence and trust. There are worse things couples do in secret. So if you trust your partner, then don't keep records of wrongs, okay? Good evening, Mr. Leo. If you have a wife who refuses all the time to give sex as a married man, what should I do? Mr. Larry, writing from UK. I'm sure this is a very serious issue. We have addressed that several years, but someone is going to say something. Good evening, dear panelists. Just joining the program now, and I wish to ask, how do you know you and your couple are not compatible? From Mr. Njan Ani, writing from Limbe. Okay, yes, the issue of there are men who also starve their wives now from sex.
Yes,
and vice versa.
But we have said that those things here, but we will still say them for the sake of emphasis. We are just trying to say that normally, ask yourself the question: how strong are you? Because if you cannot 2-minute man, you are a 2-minute man, you go there, the truth about it is that the woman will not want you. And sometimes the woman can be cheating out there and is getting it better outside there. So there's no need to begin to embrace you or some kind of thing. And one of the characteristics of someone, refusing sex or some kind of things is one, either the sex is not pleasing or they are getting it somewhere else. So they don't see any need to come this way because it is not pleasing there. Then the other point again is sometimes some of men, they make the environment so dirty, and so they want the woman to be clean, but they themselves are not clean. You know, you come back with sweat, or you want to come and touch a woman, it will not go. The women, you always repel them.
Okay.
This perfume, most perfume is for women only. No, men too can get perfume.
Okay, let's get the second intervention of Mr. Asanji Yvette from Bomena.
So in continuation, Mr. Liu, you're going to see that couples, like there's some couples that one spouse might be talking a lot and the other spouse is not talking. Now, in this case, some couples might look at it like it's a kind of incompatibility. But I, as a counselor, I look at it like it's instead a major source of compatibility in their relationship or in their marriage. Now, the reason is because two talkatives cannot get married. If two talkatives get married, who will listen to who? So instead of looking at the communication, how you communicate differently, rather you should look at it as a strength to your relationship. Because when one spouse is talking, at least the other spouse should be able to listen. But if two spouses are talking, it makes marriage a marketplace. It makes it lousy. I'm just giving an example on communication, okay? But now we also have differences in sex, maybe different sex drives. So one might have a higher sex drive, the other might not, and things like that. But how then can we resolve incompatibilities? The first thing is that you must celebrate the differences, just like I was explaining on the point of communication. You must celebrate the differences. The fact that I'm different from you, let's say the fact that I talk more than you do, doesn't make me an enemy to you. We should understand that we are both created differently, and I'm talking more so that I can keep the relationship boosting, alive. Okay. So first of all, couples should do what they should understand and celebrate each other's differences instead of attacking those differences. Then they should learn how to talk. In areas where they think they are not compatible, they bring it on the table, they communicate about it. And then they should also work on their expectations. If you have some kind of expectations that your spouse does not know of, it's better you tell them. Openly tell them. They are not God to understand or to just know. Share your expectations with them. What are those needs that you or what is it that you're expecting from this relationship, or from him or from her? Then work on emotional connection. If you're not emotionally connected, every other thing can go wayward, every other thing can go wrong. But once you're emotionally connected, it's okay. Okay. Then find areas where both of you have the same kind of interests and hobbies. If you like football, maybe you can take time to watch football together. If you like maybe series, movies, find areas where both of you share the same interests and hobbies. And then after everything, you need to be more open for your spouse to understand you better. So these are just some simple ways to curb incompatibilities in a relationship.
Thank you, Ms. Asanji Yvette from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. If you are very faithful to your husband and realize he keeps cheating on you with different girls, is it bad to refuse him sex if you fear of being infected? How would the marriage go on if you have to? How do you? This is so difficult now. Apostle.
Yes. That if you have been faithful to your husband and he keeps cheating with other ladies,
yes,
and you deny him sex, right? Okay. Deny him sex only increases the number of ladies outside. Because he's already out. So if you deny him sex, you only help him increase more of the ladies outside.
But when you give his cheats, how do you?
So it doesn't change anything.
It is a very serious thing.
It is your basic responsibility.
And follow.
It is your basic responsibility to give your husband your body.
Yeah, but should we not also tell her to say counselor alongside the husband, because she is raising the issue of her health here.
Yes, that health issue is something that every mother in Africa complains about. Because she's not the only one that had in that kind of situation. It's a common thing. Even if it's the man is not going out with many different women, but just one woman. You don't also know whether that one woman is also having another affair with another person.
If it was just one woman.
Yes. Even if it's just one woman. So you will always be at that kind of risk. Okay. And you cannot be using condoms or with your husband for all the while. But some women are very strong about it. They want you to go to the hospital and check yourself first before you can come and have sex with them. I think in that kind of a situation, if the worst comes to the worst, you can propose that.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Your program educates me. I celebrate you guys. Alain is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you, Alain. Good evening, Mr. Liu. If a woman is cheating up to having children with any man out there, so what can I do? I have discovered it. Sorry, I'm Johnson writing from Boya.
Are you officially married to the woman? That's the question. Ask your question very well. If it's your legal wife, it is your choice to stay with her or to separate. We don't tie people not to divorce. The Bible has given the opportunity for you to separate in a relationship you are not comfortable in the case of adultery.
Okay. Good evening, please. How can one overcome high sex drive with your partner? Good evening, sir. The program is so interesting. Thanks a lot. Sir,
Overcome sex drive.
High sex drive, yes. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think cheating comes as a result of Christianity and civilization, which preaches against polygamy because our forefathers knew nothing about cheating. Okay. Good evening, sir. I love the panelists on air. They are rational thinkers. Good evening. Okay. Sixtus is writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Sixtus. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Jarvis. I don't believe learning some of the setbacks of our partners is one of the ways to overcome issues of incompatibility among couples. Learning should have come the very first thing before going in for marriage, okay? Success, writing from Kribi, says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for this program. I have a serious problem. Yeah, I'm sorry for my SMS is going to be a bit long. I have a whom her and her husband prepared their church traditional and court marriage. After the man spent all the money, the wedding was to hold in Tiko while they are in Douala. To cut every cut, the man didn't show up on the day of the court marriage. The problem now is everybody advises her not to go back to her husband. They were already living together for so many years, and the man is caring and loving somebody. The girl has gone back to her husband, but he has not given her any reason why she didn't come for for the wedding. But he is only saying that he is sorry. He doesn't know why he didn't go. So the girl is asking if she should continue with her man or she should go as many people advise her. Please let Apostle Ambe help me solve this problem.
Apostle, Lefor, answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah, the truth is these are some kind of questions that people come to us counselors and think that there is just a one answer that we can give to them.
And they have their own thing.
And they have their own thing. This woman who went back already, what was carrying her there? What was the reason that she had come to that place? They had been living together. There was a decision they made to go for traditional and court. And we have talked on this panel the importance of court. You understand me? And we have put all of these things into place. The man has already done the traditional. We already know that they are married. We are not even here even doubting the fact whether they are married or not. But for the woman's safety, I don't see a reason why if somebody loves you, want to spend their life with you, in fact, sometimes this is just a show of goodwill and shows that legally, this is it. So what do you want me to tell you now? That you should leave your house? Very soon, tomorrow, you will get up and say that we're the ones who scattered you. But the simple truth is, this woman is still open. If something happens, you are on your own because the state does not recognize this marriage.
Yes.
So I think it's up to her to see whether this is what she wants to live with, because the man is not even giving an excuse. If I had the opportunity to talk with the man before I can make a decision here, and I think all the counselors will tell you here that if this kind of case comes, we must be able to at least listen to the man before we make a judgment call.
From the man to know what
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all the panelists. It's an interesting topic, and I'm learning a lot. Daisy is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Daisy, and to you, Success, writing from Kribi there. Greetings to all in the house. What if you catch your fiancé cheating with your neighbor who is married?
One chance.
Will you just accommodate him after several other cheating situations? I need your help. Lovelyn is writing from Boya. This case is a fiancé.
That's a
Lovelyn,
fiancé. End it. End the
Lovelyn, this is a fiancé. No, when people are married, the story is different.
It's different.
The music is totally different. You cannot see hot water and still
And
enter
still
into
yourself.
it.
And
It
then
will
you believe
kill your
God
body.
will change it.
It will change you tomorrow. So
Okay.
now that you even have the opportunity to separate,
Yes.
back out.
Back out.
We
Okay.
sometimes tell people to stay married because a lot of things are
Involved.
involved.
A lot of things.
A lot of
Children
things are
are
involved.
already there.
Children,
Families,
families,
the society, a lot of things, the court.
Yes. What example do you want to show?
Even
the
you go to
world?
the court, they don't give you divorce immediately.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it take 4 or 5 years.
How to handle a situation where your husband is always infecting you with sexually transmitted diseases
my God.
because of his adulterous attitude? Joycelyn is writing from Yaoundé.
This is the thing
That's
that
the same thing we
we
just said.
just advise that
Yeah.
just if you think that it's something that happened over and over, let him always do his test at least, and you also see to it that you get a medical, you get a counsel from a medical professional who can also give you maybe some preventive drugs, because there are also some things that people take to prevent such.
What about HIV and AIDS? How are you going to presume to be
I
prevented?
should use preservatives, sir. Good
Preservatives
evening,
now.
good evening to everyone in the panel. I'm asking as Apostle Ambe, is cheating sexually is a sin or a weakness? Nit is writing from Yaoundé. It's a sin now.
Cheating is a sin, and as well, it could be a weakness.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. Panelist, marriage is a process where a certificate is given before the schooling. In this
all
case,
those
all
things.
of you have to learn during the process to be compatible. This therefore needs a personal effort from both of you to stay together. Honorable Fusi writing there. Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening to you and all the panelists, especially Apostle Ambe. It is Ntang writing from Bamenda. Please, how do you manage a man who does not appreciate any effort you make? The least mistake, he ignores everyone at home and refuses to eat at home for days.
Anybody who gives money for food and does not eat is not a man, is a boy.
Yes, a man boy.
So you are married to a man boy.
And it's a bouncy baby
Yeah.
boy.
So
quite
how
simple.
do you give money for food you refuse to eat in the house? That's the last thing any matured man will do. No matter how annoyed I am, I'm the one who gave them money. I will eat my food. It's my sweat. Number two, there are people who too much grew with their mother, so they are still boys in their marriage. He gets angry over every single thing. He is suffering from complex and he's immature. So what you have to do is consider that as a necessary evil on your path to destiny. It's not every marital problem that we can give you solutions to.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the entire crew. In the line of compatibility, I wish to ask, can someone sideline some of his or her dreams so as to fit in with their partners? Nice to have you back. It's Nelson Gomez writing from Sang Melima.
Yes.
Yeah.
If at all you sideline, the part of your dream you are sidelining will not affect you arriving the measure purpose of your being on earth, you can still put it aside and then...
Okay. Hello, Mr. Leo. Greetings. What if you find yourself in a situation where you got into marriage thinking you were ready and not prepared and all is not going as you thought? What should you do?
I think that's the reason why we are here. You get to any of us here,
Okay.
we can help you and walk you through.
Good evening, sir.
need a
Please, how
coach.
do you cope with a man that beats his wife at any given opportunity? Too
Pack
bad.
your
State
things
council.
and go away.
Okay.
Sister, who is being beaten often, take him to welfare.
Welfare.
The welfare
If you are
doesn't-
legally married,
Yes.
You are legally, take him to
for,
welfare.
Look for a female lawyer or a female that will handle
No.
him. He will never do that again.
Now listen to this. You have to go and let him sign an accord,
Undertaking.
an undertaking that he will not lay hands on you. In
Yes.
case he
if
does
a
that,
woman, you should look for a
let
woman
well,
somebody.
let me land. Let him. I have a case like that. I have
Yes.
a case like that. A man
Undertaking.
constantly beating the wife. The woman took the man to the state council. He signed an undertaking
Undertaking, yes.
that he will never touch the woman.
There
And
is,
they have been
there
living
is
in peace.
Justice Verangasa that is specialized in that.
They have been
He
living
will be
in peace.
flogged in our office.
They have
Okay.
been living in peace.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and
He will be
welcome.
flogged.
And welcome back. We are enjoying the program. Indeed.
Yeah, talent
Keep
in
it
the
up. Mr. and Mrs. Wala writing from Chang. Good evening to you. Good evening to that powerful panel. My take, study your spouse and understand her weak points that causes him or her to shout and be violent, but it does not change. If they don't change, then adopt the fact that that's my spouse. I will study to live with such. Apostle Mitch Lobe, writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all the panelists. I'm enjoying the program. It's very educative. Fonte Ernestine Tambom, writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Great program. It's CY from Bamenda. How do you manage a situation where the woman was not initially the nagging type, but automatically changed when you got married to her? Okay, something went wrong. Can you just get to our counselors after the program? They will talk to you. Good evening to you, Mr. Liu. Nice topic there. How can a wife contain a husband who is dictative, wants his wife to submit all her monthly salary to him, and be a beggar, unable to even take care of her body because the husband takes all the money and neglects her instead he does family plans with his mother. Now, now the wife refused submitting the money again. He stopped eating at home and keep late nights from Madam Ayuk.
Yes, that's why the government has put up what they call the social welfare. Look, these people are not there for nothing. The government knew that there will be something like that, there will be problems like that. The social welfare handles those things. Sometimes they even put the man under constraints,
okay,
especially when it comes to a behavioral challenge that is out of marital norms.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. So, Madam Ayuk, please, you report the case. Your case is quite serious. Good evening, yes, Mr. Liu, and all the panelists. Please, how can one be compatible with a woman who is grossly disrespectful? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the apostles. It's Cynthia from Limbe. Please advise me. My husband gets irritated at what I do easily and ignores everything I say and doesn't communicate with me as he does to others. He always replies me as if we have a problem. When I met him, he didn't talk much and I didn't notice all this, but it's worse now, and he talks only when he sees his friends and family, and when they are gone, he's mute. I'm the type that likes discussion, and I'm playful too, but I dare not go close to him to play. I'm so disturbed.
You look for other people you can play with. It doesn't necessarily friends. Create your own world too. Sometimes you make him to be jealous about it. Yes,
but what if he's the type who would not want you to go out also?
No, but it cannot work like that.
No, the lady who is writing this this message. Let me help you. If your husband is a person who doesn't speak, he likes talking with others, he's just like so arrogant and doesn't communicate with you, treats you like some garbage in the house and make you feel like you have no relevance. We are talking about abuse, Mr. Liu.
Yes.
People look at abuse only from a physical point of view. That's emotional abuse.
That's a serious
It
abuse.
kills. This thing kills more than punches. And I've said that anything that will kill you in a marriage, go you aside. Go leave that thing that will kill you. Nobody is worth dying for. Nobody is worth dying for.
And if you love him too much, create your own world that creates you happiness.
Okay.
That's it. Create your own world.
Okay. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Please, how can you handle a woman who is so stubborn and listens mostly for his mom and has decided to live in his father's house, say that he is the only son of his mom and father?
Amen.
I am Lilian, writing from Douala.
He's a boy, not a man.
Okay.
You were asked to marry a man shall leave his father and mother may join to a wife. Why did you go marry a boy? He didn't leave the house.
But why are these people surprised? They are not surprised because they saw these boys during that time. They saw it, they knew it, and now you're in marriage, you're complaining.
What a nice program that can build up broken homes. It's rather funny that my wife is not paying attention to the program. Thankful Nelson is writing from Moko. Thankful, okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Kudos to you and the co-panelists for the wonderful job you are doing. Manage a woman who is, how do you do to manage a woman who is unforgiving and hard-hearted? Each time you people have a problem, she takes a very long time to let go. Mr. Ngwa Harrison is writing from Douala.
Take him to your pastor.
Okay, good.
I think let me just make this little contribution about this topic. When we're really talking about this compatibility, I want to say something because we have talked about it only in the light of handling weaknesses. But I want to really say this. I've always said that everybody's strength is also their weakness. that thing that somebody will say that is making you, that somebody will say that's arrogant. Mr. Apostle Ambe is shouting like this. It's also that thing that propels you. Like if you see the kind of energy Paul puts and all of those kind of things, you see Paul also said that when people saw me, they were confused.
Best leaders of the world are choleric leaders.
Good.
Yes.
So you will see that because of this choleric nature, all of us have that thing.
Yeah.
There is no anybody who knows
as
me.
a leader,
they will tell you that this man is shouting. You get it? And I think that same thing also. So you will discover that the wives of people like this have some common traits. They know how to manage the shout. I've heard some ladies say, "Ha, mama me, you stand, that man shouts so, and no fit me." You get it?
Yeah.
So this same thing that you will call weakness is also our strength. The same way that thing that makes a lady very nurturing, kind, can also be the gateway for manipulation. Every strength is a weakness. And I think that when you understand this, that's why you will now begin to apply the rule we have set here to understand its relevance to the joint goals and purpose of that relationship, so that it begins to make sense. I'm saying this. And for compatibility to be strong, I want to advise, one of the problems we have is that most people don't know their common interests and the things they should bond over. There are times I'm watching a Nigerian movie that some people know I don't watch Nigerian movie, but sometimes my wife would just draw me and start giving me one gist, one story, and before I know it, I have watched it. But at the same time, we have common interests. The kind of movie I love, the worst one is to marry somebody whom you don't get their joke. Please, let me tell you this. Like that person is talking about the home. The home can be a very depressing place when there is no joy, when there is no laughter. I think one of the compatibility is understanding each other's joke. As little as it is, understanding somebody's joke. That means sometimes before I finish saying it, she has started laughing from the room. You know, they get it. How can you live with somebody, you make a joke, the person look at you, you say, I think these are some small things that it looks like it is nothing. This emotional piece, and it comes, like I say, when you know how to profile the man. The problem is that most of the time we are dating like young people, we are going for clubbing, we are going but to drink, we are just thinking about the sex, and all of these things cloud our minds, and we don't get to the things that matter. So, in this profiling, you are looking at the relevance of these trends. Yes, and I think that when we begin to understand, yes. Okay. So as we begin to stand in this incompatibility, I don't want us to only look at it as what about the weakness, but I think we should stand on those trends.
Many persons have worries. I'll just be reading and
then the answers we can get.
Mr. Leo, good evening. My fiance is forcing me to go for her knock door first, so that she start having children, whereas I want to do wedding before children comes because I'm financially down. Please, you guys should talk to me. I'm Elvis in Limbe. Elvis is not financially stable, but the woman wants.
No, don't force yourself to go into marriage when you're not stable. That's the marriage.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Leo. What can we do with a case where a man marries a woman, impregnates 2 times, but claims not to be responsible? Ethel is writing from Yaoundé. That's irresponsible, but if he refused the first time, why did you go for the second time?
That's the question I wanted to ask. You are the woman. The woman is the one who has the problem, not the man.
Good evening to this wonderful and outstanding men. Greetings to you all, and I admire you all on how the house is managing issues concerning marriage and relationship. I've been living with a man for 4 years now, and we have 2 kids, girls. We are not legally married yet, but for the past 3 years, we were living in peace, no issue. There came a time when he met his ex-girlfriend, and when I discovered it, he almost killed me with beatings. Because of the children, I didn't leave the house, and now they're still very tight together. And at times, he will leave the kids, and I go and spend the night with the other girl. Now they are planning to have a child together. I don't really know what to do. Please, I need a word of wisdom from you all. Thank you. Sorry, my name is Sandra, writing from Bamenda.
Yes, this is the reason why we were advising you to get married legally. Good. You see, at this point in time, we have little to say. If you were legally married, this man could be called to order by the law.
Good.
You understand? This is the thing. Now, they just take you. When we used to tell people, they think we want to control them because we are pastors. They take you, they keep you in the house. And now he is doing all of this for 4 years. He is doing all of this. And at the end of the day, even if there's a breakup, you are the one to lose.
You will lose.
You will be the one to lose.
I want to also address that man. let us not bury that lady. Some people sometimes are desperate and find themselves in situations they cannot handle.
Now village people come
Now,
after that
let
girl
me
now,
be
so.
very sincere.
Village people.
That a man is an authority does not mean he's right.
But that is clear.
We are misconstruing the fact that because a man is the head, it means he's right. There are idiots who are leaders.
No, we are not saying
who are
he's
the
right.
head.
He's definitely not right.
What
No,
he's
he's not
doing
right.
there
They call him
is,
to order also.
Yes.
he has. You do, if you do me something stupid as a citizen, I will take you to the police. It doesn't mean I'm married to you. That girl is a citizen of this country and has the right to take that man to the judiciary for molesting her